Well, Mr. Koenig, welcome to Vulcan. I see you've been in the parade this morning. Kind of your first impressions. What did you think of all this?
Well, it's very charming. You know, small town and the enthusiasm, and everybody comes out. That's very nice.
Well, you've obviously been around Star Trek for a long, long time, and you've met a lot of the fans and things like that. Just some of your impressions of some of the fans and some of the things you've been able to see and do over the years with the conventions and things along these lines.
Well, that question I could go on forever. You know, I've been doing conventions for 40 years and all over the world. And this year alone, I was in Germany and I was in Australia. So it's an ongoing experience. There's some things that they all have very much in common. You know, it's a wonderful enthusiasm and a sense of fraternity the folks have. They're all very supportive. They've always welcomed us and made us feel like we were worthwhile, and that it was a pleasure for them to see us. So, of course, it was a pleasure for us to see them.
Well, 40-odd years into Star Trek and then the lore, I guess, that it's become, any idea when you first got into this that it was going to grow into this cultural phenomenon?
None. No, I just knew that I was going to have what I assumed was a recurring role, and that they would use me from time to time on the show, but that it would eventuate into this extraordinary movement, this institution. It's become an institution, and was quite beyond my imagination.
Well, good news for you this year. September, you're going to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That is a major accomplishment. I think maybe, for as far as Star Trek fans are concerned, a long overdue one.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I look forward to that. There's some potholes still to be maneuvered for that to happen, but I'm assuming we'll get over them. But yeah, it's due to happen in September, and we're going to have a little convention built around it, so it should be a very festive and memorable occasion for me.
Well, we'll talk quickly just about the character of Pavel Chekov. I know my grandparents, they watched Star Trek when I was little, and they were Ukrainian immigrants. They saw you on there. They liked your character. They watched the show strictly for you. Did you find that you did speak to maybe some of the immigrant population at the time? I understand the Cold War coming around, there was a lot of other various things in regards to your character, but it was something I was always interested in, was whether you kind of felt that through the years with the fans.
Actually, no. My fan base was generally kids from 8 to 12 years old. They were the ones who wrote in pencil on lined paper and said groovy, you know. That was pretty much and that's why they brought me on the show, was to draw that demographic. And it was relatively successful. I did indeed have a following in that area. There was a lot of teenage magazines that featured me because of that.
Now, by the same token, you've become iconic, I think, with the character and with the show. I look back, Star Trek 4, the Voyage Home, the movie. I mean, you really got a chance to shine there as a bit of a comic actor. You had some great lines in that movie and some great bits where you really got to show off how funny you are.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was the best fun I've had. Star Trek 4 was the best fun I've had. I felt really integral to the story. The dialogue was germane to my character. It was not a laundry list of words that could have been spoken by any of the supporting actors. They were really indigenous to who my character was, and I felt important. I felt I was contributing, and I felt it was such a good script with so many sides to it, that it was something that I knew I'd always be proud to have been in.
Well, I know James Doohan and, to a lesser extent, Leonard Nimoy at different times felt that they had been pigeonholed because of Star Trek, and it was harder for them to get work at certain times. I know you've gone on to do other things. Did you ever kind of feel that way yourself?
I think a more accurate assessment would be to say, because the character was so minimally represented in the series, and even in the movies for the most part, except for Star Trek 2 and 4, I think the typecasting had to do with what the perception was of my range as an actor. That I'm very good at saying warp factor 4, but what else can I do? You know, there was never a showcase, again, with the exception of Star Trek 2 and 4, to show that I had some, versatility, that I had, I could play different kinds of characters. So I think it was easy to dismiss me as saying, oh, he plays the Russian guy, and that's it. And that's as far as it went.
Excellent. Sir, I have everything I need. Appreciate your time very